Chris is anxious to get to Canada. So that's a cool look at the Canadian roster right there. Let's go through the goaltending here because that's probably they might have the weakest goaltending in the tournament, but I mean, who else could you really, put there? You want to say maybe a Logan Thompson was a guy we were considering, the way he's played out of the gate for Washington this year. It's Aiden Hill, it's Binnington. I made an argument for Marc-Andre Fleury as a feel-good pick there. But, I mean, there was not many ways they could go there. I don't have a problem with it, except for the fact that it's not high quality.
It's definitely not high quality. Look, I had Stuart Skinner as part of this team. I also had Marc-Andre Fleury as part of it for obvious reasons. I don't mind this, like the goaltending. To me, I think this is Aiden Hill's spot. And some people are saying that, like Sam Montembeault is just there for political reasons. And I'm like, homie, like, can we, like, Sam Montembeault has won gold, I think, at the World Juniors, World Championships, one of those. He has represented his country before. He is doing fantastic on an absolutely miserable Montreal Canadiens team. Stop it. Like, some people are they're bored and they're looking for something to write, and that is not it. But it's no secret that this goaltending is not good. I will say this. So in the Monday Night League that we play in, right, there's one team that's really, really good, right? They're great team up front, great defensively. Their goaltending is iffy, right? But this goalie is one of the, he's winning games, and it's no secret that offense carries it. So if your offense and defense is really, really good, you could probably make up for the lack of, goaltending in the back end. There's no world-class goalies here on this team, but the other team's got to possess the puck, and they got to be in the offensive zone to score goals. And if this team is built, correctly, they possess the puck. I mean, again, Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon and Sidney Crosby on one team feels like a cheat code. So, I mean, if your opponent never touches the puck, you're going to be just fine.
That's the thing. It's, with how strong that forward group is, and they have a really good blue line as well, and we'll get to both of those in a second. Maybe they won't have to make a ton of saves. Maybe the goaltending for them is not as relevant as it would need to be for some other teams. Let's look at the defensive group there. No surprise Taves and Makar make it. No surprise Josh Morrissey makes it. You get two of the Vegas defensemen there with Shea Theodore and Alex Pietrangelo. Travis Sanheim, Colton Parayko, I think, are interchangeable on that third pairing. Both, I mean, in terms of snubs for Canada, you started your Nick Suzuki there, but on the blue line, do you make an argument for Evan Bouchard over one of those guys, or are you okay with the group you got?
I mean, look, I had Evan Bouchard as part of his team. I probably had him as a seventh defenseman, the power play guy. He still has an absolute cannon of a shot. So, like, I'm again, Morrissey can play the power play. Makar can play the power play as well. Shea Theodore can play. All those guys can play the power play. Yes. But the cannon that Bouchard has, it's certainly a choice to say, hey, we're not going to bring him in. I get maybe the defensive game is not there, but you have more than enough players who can play defense. So that is one thing. There is no reason to have Alex Pietrangelo on this team. Zero reason when you have a player like Noah Dobson or Mackenzie Weegar that are Canadian. There's no reason for Alex Pietrangelo to be here. I get it. He's good defensively. Noah Dobson being left on this team, absolutely criminal. I don't know. I don't know how this is. Mackenzie Weegar is the same thing. There's a guy who he could block shots. He could generate offense. Like Pietrangelo doesn't do that. He doesn't push the play anymore. He doesn't generate any offense, right? So to me, there's nothing there. I had Brandon Montour on this team. I'm fine if you bring Colton Parayko. It is what it is. Montour was really good in that Florida run to the Stanley Cup. So I felt that Travis Sanheim is the one that kind of like lifted some eyebrows here. Clearly he's played well enough to be here, and let's see what his role is. Are his advanced metrics really that great? I don't know, right? And I like it. To me, the question is he better than somebody like Mackenzie Weegar and Noah Dobson? And the answer is no. Not in my mind, not statistically, not advanced metrically. He's not. So I don't know how he got here, but make the most of it, homie.
There you go. Yeah, Noah Dobson, I know things aren't great on the island right now, but to not see him as one of the seven there was a little surprising.
Yeah, that I don't know, man. Like the Islanders are garbage all around. And no, I get Noah Dobson's not like it's not a great start, but I don't think that's all on him. Like he
No.
still goes out there, he blocks shots, he could shoot the puck. He's a great passer. And he can eat up the minutes. He is a better version of Alex Petrangelo. So why is that like it's Petrangelo because he's going to play with Theodore? Like I knew that Devin Tays was going to make this team because he's probably going to play with Cale Makar, and it is a short tournament, and you want guys who have some familiarity to play together. I get that. But I mean, this isn't Crosby dragging Kunitz with him. Like, I don't know why Alex Petrangelo is here. It doesn't make sense. He's not better than some of the guys who are left off. I don't even know how much he's going to contribute.
Now, when you look at the forward group, it's tough to use the word snub with like a Canadian roster because like you could probably build a second roster out of Canadians that would compete pretty well too, especially up front at forward. In terms of like guys that are locks, obviously Braden Point, Connor McDavid, Sam Reiner, Mitch Marner, Nate McKinnon. I think Travis Konechny also belongs there as well. Obviously Crosby and Marchand have been line mates on international tournaments for Canada. It seems like forever now. Mark Stone, I kind of have like an old man line vibe going there, but it works. And then, on the bottom line, I see Sam Bennett over John Tavares was something that State of Survival was asking about. And I'm okay with that just because you want a little bit of sandpaper in that lineup. Bennett's going to give you that in a short tournament, especially against the United States. And then you see Seth Jarvis and Brandon Hagel there, and Anthony Cirelli certainly earns his keep there with playing the second line center role in Tampa, filling in for Point there for a little while when he was injured and playing very well. So he has played his way onto the Canadian roster. Zach Hyman hasn't had a great year, if you want to say he's a snub. Steven Stamkos also not off to the great start down in Nashville. Mark Scheifele is the one that I would say if you were going to, if you want the Tavares over Bennett, maybe Scheifele is like the happy medium between those two. But that would be the one guy. He's played very well this year that, to say I was surprised that he didn't make it.
I am a little bit like I get bringing Mark Stone, like Marchand, Crosby, and Stone. That's a lot of leadership on what those guys can play on both sides of the ice. So I get what's happening. I just don't like it. I had Alexi Lafreniere as part of this team. I think that would have been kind of nice. Leaving Connor Bedard off this is certainly a choice. I get that he's had a rough start to this year. He also plays for the Chicago Blackhawks, okay? And he was pretty good at his rookie season, despite his injury. So, to me, like a game-breaking kind of player, like if you're not Canadian, you didn't follow his World Juniors, fine, I get it. But the homie dragged his team there. There is an abundance of skill, and I would have loved to have watched him and McDavid on the same ice at any point. You could take away a lot of his responsibilities by not having to win faceoffs, like play him on the wing. I don't care. But leaving him off this roster, certainly a choice. I had Steven Stamkos as part of it instead of Mark Stone. It's kind of like interchangeable to me, right? Yeah. I just like the upside that Stamkos like scores goals, but Stamkos can play well defensively as well. Stone is probably a better all-around player. Let's see if his back holds up by the time you get there. To me, the one is obviously Nick Suzuki. I think Nick, I don't know, man. Like, I get why Anthony Cirelli is there. I get the role that he plays, but like Nick Suzuki can do exactly that and give you more. He can contribute offensively. He can contribute defensively. He can play those tough matchups, right? I also had John Tavares as part of this team, but again, if you want Sam Bennett there, that's fine. Good for Brandon Hagel for making it. Clearly, he did enough to be there. I don't know what he's going to bring, but he's there. Good for Seth Jarvis as well, man. It's been a run to get here. He was a cut at the World Juniors, and now he's part of the Four Nations Cup. So I get I'm not taking anything away from Jarvis. Like if you want Jarvis there over someone like Lafreniere or Stanley, fine. You know what I mean? That's okay. But no Connor Bedard is like, what are we doing? This is pure skill, man. Pure skill. You can figure it out with the best players in the world. Would have been a great opportunity for him.
Would have been cool to see everybody on the same ice. And I understand why people will be like, he should have been there, but all that. Selfishly, for me, it helped me make a great under 23 and under team that we'll get to in a little while here, a fictitious team. But you have a lot of what Bedard brings to the table on the team already. So like, yeah, like maybe he could be there over a Sorelli or I don't know. I understand why people want him there, but I can also understand the decision to leave him off. Let's see here. Barzal, would he have made the team if he was healthy?
Again, is he, to me, is he better than Nick Suzuki? No, he plays mostly the wing now. And I don't think there would be much for Barzal to contribute. I will say this. Think of this power play when you have McDavid, McKinnon, Bedard, Makar, and Bouchard. Like that could have been a power play, and I don't see a single soul stopping it. I don't see like the amount of movement on that unit and skill, like to me would have been unstoppable. So not having the shot from Bouchard and not having like Bedard is a world class player to me. Like I get that it's a struggle. I get it's not always easy, but again, he plays in Chicago. He's the only one that matters there. Teams make his life difficult. On a roster like this, you can't watch Bedard because you got to watch McDavid, you got to watch McKinnon, you got to make sure Reinhardt's not scoring goals. Crosby can still contribute. This was a good opportunity to have him here and really see him flex, and instead they chose not to. So, but no, to answer your question, I don't think Barzal would have been part of this team, even if he was healthy.
Yeah, I think there's a few other people that would have made the cut before him. But again, Canada is one of those teams where you can have a second team with full of, snubbed forwards and you'd still have a really quality team.